I was sitting here looking at this uh, the extreme rich versus poor divide in Los Angeles. Y'all need to go watch it. Java, Discover. Um, I'm gonna tell y'all, man. In time, day's wages. You gotta ask yourself, what's a day's wages? Day's wages. What's a day's wages? Well, when you look at the fact that ain't no that many jobs, ain't none being created. Um, and then you gotta look at the fact of the economy, and then you gotta look at the fact of country, the economy. When you get into high businesses, some of the top food chains when it comes to businesses, and let's just say real estate being one of them. The economy, people who pay their own taxes, then it's like self-governed. Um, certain countries have to. They say certain countries have to fall so other countries can grow, whatever. All right, you get by all that. So let's say America been going 100 years. Now it's time for America to be one of the countries that been going strong for 100 years. Now it's time for America to be one of the countries that take that plunder, take that plummet. Uh, um, we're not gonna build. It ain't gonna be many jobs being built. So it's like, how long could this last? But um, I was looking at they were showing how this one guy bought a house for $700,000. He bought a house like that right here, probably $150,000. And I guess people be like, well, it's a rural area. Rural areas is kind of complicated. Rural areas is kind of left preserved, for I think it's pretty decent reasons. But if we can respect those reasons and then get into let the more younger generation get into the city halls and more, and the rural areas respect the countryside of things, because you got to grow food, we need gardens, but at the same time put stuff up so people can hang out, people can do stuff, people can have stuff to do. um, like me, I would put a horse ranch up, a racetrack. I would put some kind of arena up where people can go hang out, probably even drive their cars in. Or I would just get a good piece of land where people can hang out, not be too much harassed by the laws. Of course, the laws will come through, but no harassing. Um, that wouldn't be that much. You looking at probably what? You're looking at about maybe 100 acres, which ain't nothing in a country like this. But you gotta respect the countryside of things. Um, Buying a house, and the beautiful thing about the country is that buying a house ain't the key. Buying the land is the key. If you get the land, you can do whatever you want to. You can build your house. It'd be a lot cheaper to build one than to buy one. Uh, People don't want to move in the areas because of why? The city halls, that's why I say the more younger generation need to take control over it. And they really just, the older generation just really want you to respect the land and the country part of it. And then you got these bottles and stuff like that. You got these cubes. Okay, well, it depends on how big these cubes are. Is it a county? Is it a community? They are necessity. They are necessary. even with this test, like I still think it's garbage, but it's so much usefulness in it. I can't say that. Like you got Revelation to Genesis, and let's say this stuff been happening. Revelation and Genesis always happen. It can't happen when Jesus came, and us going into slavery was part of that transition. Jesus said the end is here now. Boom, Jesus died. Everybody went to racism. Everybody went to slavery just about. Okay, it was a choice that didn't be made. You made the choice to be slaves, and you ended up being slaves. You made the choice of being slaves when you chose to choose Barabbas over Jesus. So you got to look at all this stuff. Okay, now how do I make that a fact? Like make that something that actually is real as well. If the people who chose Barabbas over Jesus was obviously radical, very radical, perverse. Well, they, maybe needed to be enslaved. You know, you just gotta look at it like that. You hung God's son, you hung Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta look at that. So when you look at stuff like that, Revelation and Genesis always happening. Earth been here for eons. Ain't nobody finna end the earth. It's obviously an organ that belonged to something. So when you look at you take all this stuff into consideration. Then you look at places like Los Angeles. Okay, what did you there for? Is you there for the city? How old are you? Is you there for the city? You there for the entertainment? What keep you there? Because I know people that leave places like that, struggling like that, come places like this right here for have a place to stay, and then turn around and go back to the struggle. Okay, well, we can't. At this point, we all running, all nationality, running back and forth. The problem is the people that's in power in certain positions that don't want narcissists that don't want change, that prevent change. But I ain't gonna say they narcissists. They just scared that the wrong people get into the positions. They're not gonna respect the land side. They're not gonna respect the agriculture. They're not gonna buy. But see, you got people that can make blueprints. People gifted in blueprints, very much gifted in blueprints. They can actually um, format a new world through that, like, and have a great balance between technology and agriculture. The problem is we ain't putting energy in this. We need to put energy. We need to put energy in this stuff. Like, why are y'all there, man? Y'all there for Hollywood. You there for the fame. You there because you see celebrity. Okay, well, can you get over that? Can you? Okay, especially if you grown. If you grown, you trying to relax. You trying to settle down. Get you a nice plot of land, and have you a family, and live the basic life. And till then, everybody could come together with City Hall and stuff, communities and everybody, and start writing out a blueprint to where we have things that's entertaining. Okay, why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this because if you did this in every rural area, first and foremost, you're gonna get all these people out of that ghostly attitude that's torture people to death and make money, because that's what it's coming down to. It's coming down to the point where you have to be involved in these barns and in these farms just to have a life, and that's not what we want. That ain't the direction we want to go in. I was just looking at this show right here. We need a YouTube news. I like news. My grandma growed up on news. I like news. When it's showing some real stuff, and it ain't talking about me. Talking about people like me. It's showing real stuff, real events, real stuff going on. Ain't no AI trickery, ain't no AI foolery, and none of that. It's just the real deal. This is what's going on. I like the news, though. My grandma, like I said, my grandma and my grandpa, we got up every morning. My grandma would get up. My grandpa we'll go to bed 10, 11 at night, get up 4, 5 in the morning, um, go around the neighborhoods, clean out the slop, um, tend to his garden. He go cut grass for elderly people like himself, and um, tend to people's yards. Um, he stayed busy. I would help him out sometimes, not a lot, not like I should have. I did it enough though to learn. Uh, I was also going to school. He come and get me 4, 5 in the morning. By 6:30, I was back at home. I had to clean. I had to clean up, get ready for school. Uh, you go feed the pigs, stuff like that. And it's your own. You taking care of the agriculture, so it's like the pigs are like back then. Pigs are like trash cans. You feed a pig anything. Pig eat a Nike shoe. Pig eat Nike shoes. I ain't saying we did it. I'm just saying you take the slop from people, and the pigs that eat the slop. Um, 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 my grandma would get up, clean the house. She was a white cleaner. I think that's what they call it. You can lick the floors and you can lick the walls. Very clean. My grandma got up and did this, no problem. Didn't nobody make her do this. She loved to clean. She was a great cook. They wanted to get her a restaurant, but she didn't want one. Best cook in my life I ever tasted. She got up every morning, cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, good healthy food though, stuff that was grown out the garden. My grandma, full of wisdom. Like I said, she cleaned. She tended to the garden. Whatever my grandpa did in the garden, she did the second part of it. Like my grandpa might have went out there and pulled the food that was that grows, like the green beans and all that stuff that finally done grow. Get that out of the garden. My grandma would go out there and put more in the garden. Uh, and that was like a normal day for all of us, really. She made sure the kids got up. She made sure we got up. She made sure we got up, cleaned up, took a shower, no matter what day it was. Sunday, ate breakfast, and if we wanted to lay back down and take a nap, it was cool. But she wanted us to get up in the morning, though. Out there throughout the day, she just watched the news. We watched the news. Of course, she was gonna watch Gunsmoke, Chuck Norris rather, and my grandpa stayed outside because he had all them boys. And they had a shop, so after my grandpa got done, he stayed with the boys in the shop to work on cars and stuff. So it was like we were always busy. So okay, you gotta ask yourself, you in the city, you looking at somebody else, but what they doing? They ain't doing nothing neither though. You know what I'm saying? Like they actors, bro. I'm not gonna spend my time watching no actor. I admire them for what they do, and some of them like family. You know, to me, we growed up off of them, but I'm not gonna let my life revolve around them. So you got. What I'm trying to say is there is land. There is other ways. We don't have to keep doing this. What we need to learn to do is, it'd be good if everybody found their twins and flames and got with them. Actually got with them and not program them to kill each other. Actually got with them because the relationship is good enough to calm each other down. You're not venturing out so much and having kids over here, having kids over there. That's where the population coming in at. You ain't in a good enough relationship to want to be in that downtime. That's a problem. You going over him, try this, honey. Oh yeah, honey. He walked out and I'm too sexy for my shirt. You know I'm Kids over here, kids over, nobody want kid, nobody want to deal with the kid. Now the kid gonna grow up and do the same thing. That's what the population growing at. Cause everybody ain't nobody really getting in with somebody they supposed to be with. You just out here gallivanting, and you out here you trying to live in your royal oats. That ain't gonna work. So it's like we gotta get back. We gotta get back to. We gotta understand why in the biblical days they did not want to do this stuff. It ain't the fact that they didn't want to do this stuff and they was too traditional, they were boring. No, hell no. And you look at through when you look through this stuff, not just in the King James, but in all of the biblical history, none of them wanted to do it. And I learned a lot for myself dealing with this test and this oil stuff. Like when you really know oil and really know what's going on with these different vessels of different people, no matter who they are, you don't want to share. Like myself, you more than scared. You know not to just share yourself with somebody. It ain't happening. When you know it to the degree that I know it, and I know better to speak on it, I spoke enough about it on social media to let you know that, to let people know, okay, well, you don't want to get down like this. But I'm going to tell y'all, because this is the kind of conversation stuff we need to start having. I don't really know much to say about it because I don't hear much about it because I'm in this queue. But I'm going to try to say as much as I can say about it from what I see and understand about it. And it's like, one thing I do know is that when the population get too great, the stores can't keep up. The stores can't keep up. Their gardens can't keep up. And that's when GMOs tend to grow. We get to a place in life, we get to an area in life where, and it always come around, this always come around as well. It's just so many years this come around where it's best for you to grow your own garden and eat your size and just go to the store and buy your meats and stuff. And when you do that, somehow that balance the agriculture of things. And it's like, so when you move to the rural area, you move to the countries, you must take this in consideration and try to let this right here be one of your main, focal points to understanding you gotta preserve the land no matter what. And you gotta definitely take care of the land. That's all the older generation wants you to do, because when you come in here with these blueprints, I'm gonna build it, build that, and see all this. No. And it's like I'm seeing these people in the city. Okay, what would be easier to sit there and buy? Buddy bought a little house, $700,000, and they say the average home $3 million. What would be easier, to get up $3 million, or to move somewhere else to where that $3 million home ain't worth, but you can get that $3 million home somewhere else for $300,000, $200,000. And then have land. And you gonna turn all that down just to be around what celebrities or overcrowded place? That's foolishness. So it's like, in the end of times, woe to the ones who travel to the city. Woe to the ones who choose to live in the city. Why? Because the population gonna be great. It's gonna be a perverse world. Just so much different things to read and look at that. So what would be easier? You getting in City Hall is right now. City Hall probably all over the world. If it's City Hall, they call it that everywhere, but we call it that here. Is probably going through a change from the old generation to a newer generation. This is the best time for people to get to new locations and start building up new homes somewhere else. Them places is overly built. Them places is them places is overrated. You know what I'm saying? Overrated. That's why so many people are flooding there. And they can do this. You can do this. You can make this much money here. You can make that much money here. And that's a lot of times people do move from there to here, and they say you can do this. It's hard to get money here now because, like I said, we got to figure out how to rebuild the infrastructure. It's got to be ways of, well, you got to get the population to want to come, and then you got to figure out, you can't have all that population here though, but, oh man, it's got to be moved. It got to be slow. It got to move slowly. But as you build, people will come, and you gotta apply yourself when you come and just start building up. And just in building up the entertainment, or the infrastructure is gonna be something to do, you know. Uh, but ain't no martyrs here. So you come here, ain't nothing. The weather perfect. Ain't no martyrs here though. you gotta have some money now. At this moment, ain't no jobs here neither. So it's like most people living with people, you know. It's stuff to buy. You can buy it if you can. Ain't no job, and it's probably like that for some of my parents. We gotta figure out why it's like that too. I think it's like that because these queues or these bottles or whatever they call them. But that's gonna change though, because the world is too populated for everybody to stay over here. Everybody stay over here. Like when I go to New York and visit, the roads got speed bumps everywhere. You tear your car, you gotta have a good car. You gotta buy a car with a suspension kit out of this world. Cause you gonna hit them bumps, your whole wheels will come off. You been done got your destination, you ain't got no wheels, and you think you got robbed. I mean, it's speed. That's cause the population's so great. People ain't got time to fill the holes, to fix the roads, and we, you know, it's cause of the population. Everybody trying to, it's popping over here, it's popping over there. Why are you doing it though? Like, are you doing it because you could cheat? Are you doing it because you could party all the time? Are you doing it because you can make quick money? What is your reasons? And then if you already got your money though, if you already good with so much money, then like this one guy on the show, he building little houses behind his yard. He plan on making $15,000 a month. Now you probably will make that here. You might will though. I don't know. Cause it ain't no jobs, man. Here right now in the situation it is, people need to start finding a lover and stay in that relationship. It also comes. My grandpa taught me all this stuff. He said, "Come a time where you got it." Y'all grandma, I see it online on YouTube right now. Your grandparents trying to tell you that. They trying to tell the young girl when the young girls be videoing their grandparent. I can hear them. They be laughing in the background. But your grandma, one of the main things y'all grandma be saying is that one girl asked her grandma, "Do you love my daddy?" She like, "Yeah." Was you in love with her? I think she said no. She said, "Well, who was you in love with?" She said, "Your daddy know who I was in love with," or something like that. She's like, "Why you get with my daddy?" She said, "Cause it was time to settle down." But that was deep, bro. And I think the young girl was like, "I wouldn't do it." That ain't what she was saying. She was saying it's time to be realistic. Like, you know, in other words, that guy that she was in love with probably wasn't a man. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be realistic about it. Who gonna take care of you when you get up to the age you can party and you can work that bottom hip, you know, for so long to the cushion in the bones start rubbing. Until the cushion in the bones is gone and bone on bone, you don't wanna do all that no more. You gotta have somebody to help take care of your ass. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta really have somebody that loves you and be there for you. And then you gotta have somebody that's business oriented. Then you gotta have somebody that knows how to take care of stuff. And y'all know how to take care of one another. You got to actually raise a family. And so it's like that's important. It's important to evolve and elevate to that. You can't keep running around here. You can't just keep running around and thinking that's the life, because life gonna pass you by like that. You know, that's what your grandma was trying to say. She was trying to say you gotta all our grandparents say that it get to a point where you gotta settle down, find a loved one, and just sit down. You can't just keep doing this. I'm telling you, one of the worstest things that I got to see in these days is that it's so many pimps, players, prostitutes, addicts, people who just like to party. It's so many old people like that. That's scary to see, bro. Like when you in your late 30s, late 40s, mid 40s, late 50s, and then people doing it, a lot of people doing it because of celebrity, because of entertainment. But these people get paid. They already paid to do this. Ain't no reason for nobody else to be living like that. That's what they get paid to do. Ain't no reason for everybody else to live like that. So you got to learn to separate the reality from the illusion, bro. You gotta learn to separate from what's real and what's fake, and that you can't do that. Like we can't live like them. They get paid for that. We gotta live in our lane. You know what I'm saying? So you see all these grown people, women and men, still out there doing this, still out there doing no, ain't nothing cute about it. And immediately, because of me and who I am, I'm immediately feel like your body is rotten, decomposing, because you out there doing something. Your body been telling you to stop, because we only got a window of time to do that kind of stuff. Just sowing your royal oath. You done went above. You done went over your time limit in that department. But that's all I want to say. Y'all don't even feel like talking. I said a lot to say that though. I don't feel like talking about this stuff. Cause it's gonna take time and it gotta be slowly done anyway. It's like like the Astro going through things right now where they choosing Earths, choosing leaders, choosing things and because of this unfair super incredible lucky gene, they ain't even worried about like I'm at the bottom of the topo. I'm at the bottom of the topo. Ain't no one interested in my Earth. So that's how perverse things is. Everybody want to keep doing this, jobs, and I guess you got a camera. Every camera got a job. Every camera is a job. Okay, you watch this person toilet. Okay, you watch this person living room. Okay, you watch this person dining room. Okay, you watch this person bedroom. Okay, you watch this person TV. You watch them jobs all around them jobs. They silly jobs, but that's what happens when you don't pay attention to what's really going on in life. So let's say the guy that was on here talking, he was like, well, the guy that was on here talking, he was like, well, let's say he say, well, what is the people that got the power to change all this? They know about it, but they in they just talking about it. They're not doing nothing about it. They know about it. They know how bad it is. They know it need to be something done about it, but they just talking about it. And then you might want to ask, well, what are they doing if they don't ask? You don't want to know. Playing golf is the least is the best thing to even think about that they may be doing. You don't want to know. Just know they're gonna talk about it. That's about it. They're gonna talk about it. We gotta look at this, man. Like Revelation said, a day's wages. I mean, what's a day's wages? Most people ain't got jobs. It's hard to get a job. Your day's wages will be a loaf of bread. Cause you ain't making. How long would it take you to get up any amount of money? That's a day's wages for bread. I know in my situation, it's very hard to get up $10, $20. So if I spent that $20 on bread, that'll be a day's wages, right?